we go.
I like that one, Brandon.
Yeah, I do too. What is up, guys? I'm your main host here, Brandon. I got the two leading guys here, Scott and Hunter here. And I also got our awesome guy here, main guy for GE, Scott Brooks here. That's our helper here that actually helped us with a bunch of the training here today to help out with our technicians and everything. How you doing there, Scott?
Doing terrific, Brandon. Thanks for that positive review.
Amazing guy. Yeah, hey, it's always awesome seeing you here there, Scotty. You know that. So you got us out of a lot of trouble when it comes down with some of these appliances we worked on.
No doubt.
Oh, shoot. Now, just to fill up a backstory with Scott here. Now, how long have you been doing appliance repair here, Scott?
Well, I guess you could say I've been doing it since I was a kid. So my dad was an appliance service technician, so I grew up around it.
Yes.
He originally worked for a retail store in Missouri, and then eventually he started his own business. So around the years 11, 12 years old, somewhere around there, I started helping out. And summers I would spend working in the shop, kind of helping out with repairs, taking phone calls. He would bring me little pieces and parts to put back together.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I got introduced to it. Didn't really think I was going to do that as a career.
Yeah.
So in my high school years, I kind of got reintroduced to the trade as going through HVAC trade school while I was going to high school. And I thought, maybe that's the better path. Maybe I don't want to do appliances, but I might get into this air conditioning thing. That seemed a little cooler at the time. But then I realized, hey, those guys are working outside. I'm living in Florida. It's 100 degrees year round.
In attics. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, so the skills kind of translated. So that's how I got introduced to it, and started off with a Whirlpool franchise service company for my first year. And then eventually went to GE, where I've been for 30 years.
Nice. It's kind of crazy how high schools would do those VOTEC style classes.
Did it to me.
Because Scott did the same thing.
But ours it was an electromechanics is what it was called. And that's the guy that worked for Sears for 20 years, and they allowed him to teach us how to work on appliances. The old belt drive Whirlpool washers, that's back in the day, We had to know how to put the belt on and off. He taught us how to wire. We had to take a compressor and timer and defrost heater and thermostat, and he'd have a bunch of wires, and we had to wire everything up. And then he'd laugh when he plugged it up, when he'd go, you shouldn't have done that. He taught us everything. So I did it from 11th to 12th, took his class every year. And then I said the same thing. I did it because it was fun. I didn't do it for a lifelong job. And I've done other jobs instead of that, but 90% of my life I've done appliance repair.
Well, in high school, you're looking at ways to get out of doing regular class.
Yes.
So you either got into a job program, or you could go off to do these trade schools where we're really lacking with that all around the country now. There's no options really for techs or kids to go into.
No vocational schools anywhere.
They've shut down most of them. The one I went to, in fact, closed down, and that was in a thriving community, Palm Beach County in Florida, and they actually shut the whole thing down.
Well, we have a vocational college in Chipley where they do HVAC, car mechanics, hairdressers, all that stuff. But schools, when I went to school, we had vocational where you could actually take welding or take anything in high school. That's what we did. So that's electromechanics was in the school. And they don't have vocational like they do that. Where kids that aren't book smart, but good mechanical people could take classes to help them thrive in that. I just think it's
not everyone's meant for college. Right. I mean, this is what that vacation school was meant for. I mean, I hate that all this stuff went away. Right. I mean, small motors died off too, even in vocational schools, and that's why I'd like to bring back the appliance class, and that's what we're trying to do here in Bonifay.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah, I think there's the modern version of trade schools would be different. It would appeal to obviously the generation we're working with now. They haven't been introduced to the same things in life. They've grown up with an iPad in their hand.
Yes.
And if you would take any of those old versions, like you were talking about training, it really wouldn't work today in the same way.
No, because
but the concept is the same. So how do you get modern style of training, but still develop kids that maybe don't necessarily want to go to college to pursue higher education. I have a lot of friends that went on to college during the time I was going to trade school and starting work, and they graduated from University of Florida, FSU, came back. One of them, in fact, was a roommate who graduated with a degree in managerial psychology.
Wow.
Don't know exactly what that applies to.
Yeah.
Sounds fancy.
Well, he didn't know what it applied to either. So
That's funny. It's a degree, though, that he
right.
has.
So, but if you don't know what you want to do with that education, and
Yes.
you don't, now, granted, there may be opportunities out there to get to a higher salary level at some point in your life, but the investment to get that degree
Right.
and the ability in a career like appliance service or any kind of trade gives you the ability to go out and make a living and a good living and increase your potential with maybe incentives that you won't see in other industries. And you can do that in a much faster pace with less debt.
Exactly.
Right. Correct.
Because college debt is the worst kind of debt.
Well, let me ask you this, Scott, with the profession, with appliance servicers, we're not considered professional.
Right.
And I'm saying that in a good way. We're technicians. I'm not saying anything bad about maintenance men or handymen, but we fall in that category. We can't. How do we take this industry and move it to where it looks like a plumber or an electrician
HVAC.
or HVAC? How do we?
Electrician's a pretty good one.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Well, I
how
say
do we-
like HVAC is like
Me
more
and
of
you
the
were plumbers.
I know
After what we did the other day.
We did some. I'm just saying, how do we make this industry so it's not so much, I don't know, not professional.
I get your question. So I think that's been looked at by manufacturers, including GE, who I work for.
Yeah.
At one point, we took our own factory technicians, and there's a company that has a certification program. You can test your technicians, you can put them through the curriculum, and you create a certification. Here's the thing that I think is challenging, and that's that states are ready and eager to regulate industries like electricians or plumbers and require certain state requirements. We've always been exempted from that as appliance technicians.
Can I be honest? That's good too.
That's good too.
Yeah,
right?
The only reason I'm saying that
So
means
be careful what you ask for. Might be
correct. I'm gonna. So look, it's okay because look, and again, anybody can become an appliance technician and open their own company, and do service. They don't have to do manufacturers where they're registered. They could just do CODs and just run with. It's hard,
right.
Yeah, it's not an easy.
So I agree with that because look, when, say we work on gas products. Reality is because I printed it out. We don't have to go get our gas license to work on gas products. There's a stipulation in there. We're not installing. It's already installed. We're servicing. I'll have to show you the stipulation because when we wanted to do.
I don't think you have to get your gas license to install.
I don't know. Oh, as long as they put the gas line on.
Yeah,
As long as the gas line's hooked up, you can hook up to the stove.
Yes.
Nah,
You don't think so?
Or
man.
is that something about-
I think what it is past the cutoff. I think you're good.
Yeah.
I think
Scott,
it's
have
up
you
to
heard
the
anything
cutoff.
on that? Are we
Well,
wrong?
I think you're right and wrong. And I'm not 100%, at the regulatory level, I don't understand all of it. But here's the way I understand it is that you have LP and you have natural. Okay, so natural, basically my understanding is anyone can install that with no regulations whatsoever.
Okay.
The regulations come in for LP gas because it's more dangerous, has the tendency to settle and pool, and the explosive capacity is greater.
Right.
So the state of Florida regulates LP gas. Now, if you go across the border into Alabama, you can do anything you want.
So when they register, you mean if we do service on that we would have to be certified with that?
So
I'm
can't say 100% on that, but the way I understand it is there are regulations if it's hooked to LP that are not there for natural.
Right. Okay. That sounds good. Look, they got so many rules, and you're correct. I'm thinking about the professional side of it. You're correct. If they start throwing licensing, and all that stuff on us, then it costs. Because appliance
Well, some
have to-
customers will tell you like they won't let you out there to mess with it unless like
You're a
are
gas man.
a gas
Right,
guy.
Right.
So,
I understand that. And we turn them to
I'll say if that's what you want, that's fine.
yeah, we work
that's a
on
good
them.
practice.
Yeah, that's what we say. We work on them. We could do it for you, but if they go, they don't want to do it. We've
Well,
had that happen.
as a technician's point of view, they're not that much different. I mean, when it comes to versus gas versus fully electric, the only thing that differs from the inner components is where the heater sits.
I don't know, bud. You're talking about gas and electricity. Gas, if you do it wrong, could blow somebody's house up.
Well, if you're completely negligent and not doing your job properly, then
Well,
yeah,
there's
That's easy to do.
you do the same thing
there's
on a full
lot of
electric
people
one.
that do that. So I mean, it's definitely possible.
I mean, how many of us have tried to light our gas grill and it doesn't ignite, and you let the gas run a little too long,
Oh,
and then you go one more click, and all of a sudden, woof.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
exactly.
It's
So-
scary.
I've seen instances where a service technician installs the wrong igniter in the oven because it fits and it glows,
Yeah.
but it's drawing the wrong amperage. So
Yes.
the safety valve opens up too
Way
late,
too soon. Yes. And then it boofs.
and then you blow the oven door off. Right?
Yeah, I've seen
and that's,
that.
You look at that part; it looks almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
And
amperage draw.
and you turn it on and it glows red. You're like,
Well, see, I want to say I might have been one of those techs in my younger days. If I had one on my truck,
Yeah, I
I'd pull that
recently-
right out,
it hasn't
and
been long since I've known that too.
Yeah.
That little trick of knowing that little poof.
the good part about gas is there's been almost no technology change in 30 years,
Yeah.
right? There's slightly different looking parts, but the way the dryer works or the way the oven works is almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so if you learned it 30 years ago, it's still the same.
Yeah.
That's not true of all the other appliances.
I want to say this to you: Biden's not allowing gas ranges anymore.
Well,
That's less on our plate.
I guarantee. So
Say it.
I know that hits a lot of that hits the social and the publicity in the media, but the reality is there's so much gas product out there. How
Yeah,
could
you can't.
you can't
Oh.
just turn it over that quick?
No, and
Yeah.
And it's a good alternative for a lot of people. Now, Florida, we could get by without it, but if you go to places like New York City or Chicago, all those buildings are piped for it.
yeah.
I mean, that's all that those people have. And you take that away from them, you're making it a burden for them.
So what's bad about gas? Am I just
So,
confused?
no.
The carbon?
Well, I mean, there's multiple ways that that's politicized, but one of those being the environmental concerns. But really, there are byproducts of the gas burning in a house, and especially in newer homes that are built super tight. So when you turn on a gas oven, you're emitting the combusted fuel byproducts. So if that gas is burning, you're going to emit a certain amount of carbon monoxide, a certain amount of carbon dioxide, odors. Well, in the old days, people opened their windows.
Yep.
They had
Correct.
good ventilation fan. Their houses
about
leaked like a sieve because
Yep.
they just weren't built tight.
Right.
You put that same oven in a house today that's sealed up tight, you're going to eventually smell that and be exposed to some of those harmful products.
Right.
There's no two ways around that. There's no exhaust pipe going out of your gas oven out of your house.
That's why they recommend that you run your vent.
I was going
when
to say,
you
is
turn your
that
stove
the reason why they make you run your hood vent?
So at
But-
the end of the day, they're looking out for us.
Yeah, but 90% of people don't have ventilation on their hoods in it.
No, it vents
Oh,
right
yes.
back into the house.
Recirculation because they built the house so tight. Again, you're better. Your air conditioning is more efficient, and your heating bill is more efficient. But then, if you have a gas product, you're going to get odors and some exposure. There's just
Oh,
no way to alleviate.
So maybe they're just thinking about that. I don't know. Go
I agree with that part of it. For me personally, I wouldn't have a gas oven in my house because I've been around and smelled what it smells like in newer houses.
right.
All electric works good, and I don't have a problem. But I think there are products that are still good to have as gas. I mean, a gas dryer dries quicker and it's more reliable than an electric
But
dryer.
the fumes are smoked out, it's blown outside.
It goes out through your exhaust.
Yeah. How many gas houses you go into and we'll look at each other and go,
Yeah.
do you smell that propane? And Bunner will go, smell him going, something's wrong with that range, but we're not here to work on that. Well, we went into that big house. I said, I smell like gas. And Hunter goes,
We
"Me
don't
too,
know if
man."
it really came from the range though, because
Yeah.
we smelled on the outside of the house.
But
Didn't
wait, remember we went and the knob was on. You remember I
Oh,
went, hey, I said,
yeah.
ma'am, we were there for about
I
the big,
remember.
huge range. I said, ma'am, I think
Yeah.
that valve's on.
Yep.
And she turned it off. I said, thank you.
Oh, that's even more
But
nerve
then we
wracking.
did smell gas. We went inside and I said, man, I smell gas. He goes, I do too. And then we went outside and I'm going, I smell gas. He goes, me too.
Gas smell
And it's
everywhere.
a distinct smell, man. You smell it as soon as you go in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's put there intentionally, right? That's an additive they put in. The gas normally wouldn't even have much of an odor.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So
Somebody said they
it
used
does
to
its
put
job.
rotten onions in it, but I don't think that's true.
I don't know about that. But,
It does. All right, Brandon, let's get on this new washer because I'm excited. I want one.
Oh, yeah, guys. This is the future of the washer and dryer department all in one here, guys. Let's see here.
Well, let's hope they're not seeing that because that makes no sense.
I think what they do is they spin this video into something
Yes,
else.
they do.
Yeah.
And it's on YouTube.
Yes, this is going to be a fusion set right here.
All right, well, let's fuse it, Brandon.
Yeah.
We've developed the Ultrafast Combo,
Wow.
a 2-in-1 washer-dryer that will wash and dry a large load of laundry in about 2 hours without the hassle of transferring the load. This one-and-done solution is designed to change the laundry experience. GE Profile designed the Ultrafast Combo to learn your load patterns, fabric types, and habits. Cycle times adjust from load to load based on load size, fabric type, and selected options. To help prevent overdrying, your Ultrafast Combo uses sensors, lower temperatures, and high airflow for maximum care of all your laundry. At the end of the cycle, certain items and the air inside may feel slightly humid due to the airtight seal. Simply remove the items, giving them a quick shake, and they'll feel dry in seconds. A more dry option is also available. Because your Ultrafast Combo is gentler on clothes, less lint will be generated. An easy-to-clean dual-stage lint filter captures microparticles, ensuring maximum airflow and fast drying. The Ultrafast Combo combines speed, care, and performance in the only machine you need. One and done. This is smarter cleaning. This is GE Profile.
Great commercial.
Wow. Yeah.
Top notch
They
right
did a
there.
good job on that.
That is the
commercial.
future.
So let me ask you, what is a pre-wash? I just saw that. I have no idea. What's
Yeah.
the purpose of that?
Pre-wash is we've had it around for other products, and we have a pre-wash compartment in a lot of the dispenser drawers. That's typically just another additive and a detergent that's more potent to help break down people that have grass stains on their clothes, kids with muddy clothes, and it's a way to sort of loosen up the soils. Yeah, but the video, I think you can see there's a lot of production that goes into this, and they've done dozens of these videos. There's been more marketing blitz behind this machine, and it's not just hype. They really invested in the product first,
Yes.
proved it out by design. It took them, from what I understand, almost 7 years of development, not because they had to solve this massive problem. You know, the problem is that we're solving is it's a combo machine. It eliminates the need to transfer that load. That's the number one problem. But initially they were investing a lot of money in heat pump designs, which is what this uses to dry the clothes, in a dryer format. So they were developing a heat pump dryer, and they realized, you know, one thing is that's going to be more expensive. There's heat pump dryers out there that probably work well, but they don't solve anybody's problems, because my $500 dryer dries clothes just fine.
Yep.
Why would I spend $1,000 for your heat pump dryer?
Yeah.
Right.
You're not solving a problem. You're maybe incrementally saving a little money over time, but people aren't going to buy a product based on that. So they figured out, we're going to solve a problem if we put all that energy we focused on this heat pump dryer into this washer. And they did a lot of experimentation and development, and figured out how to maximize that, solving that problem of load transfer. And then they developed all these byproduct benefits that are just kind of blows me away about how many things it improves for the consumer and
amazing.
for the energy consumption.
It is.
It's almost like the start of a whole new look too, in a sense. You know, with
like the
display.
appearance. Yeah.
Oh,
you know
yes.
how it's like it's not the digital knob no more. It's,
I'm just in shock that other manufacturers hadn't tried this, because, you know, they're looking at the reviews too. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at that going, well, dang, this must be a great machine.
And I mean, as technicians, we're skeptical when new technology
Yes.
comes out. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's an appliance, if it's a television, you
Yes.
say it does all these things and proclaim, that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, you're bound to going to come back and bite you.
Yeah.
But they explained all of this. They laid it out as a plan. As technicians, we were skeptical for the first few weeks. So we're reading those reviews and we're like, wow. If the average consumer is willing to put themselves out there and do a YouTube review and explain how terrific this is and how much it's benefited them in their life, there must be something good going on there.
Yes.
I've watched a few of those videos because I was a skeptic technician. I was one of those going, I can't wait to see how many repairs we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
But absolutely hardly none. This is a great machine.
Yeah, this was like my first time actually getting to use one today, so it was amazing.
It was amazing. Me too. First time I've got to see one.
Same
run.
here.
I like the color aspect. I like the time. I like the little clock feature.
Most of that's
really
stuff,
neat.
I'm typically somebody that likes to stay away from some of the
Me
bells
too.
and whistles.
Me
but
too.
the way it's done on this machine, they've really made it intuitive.
Yeah.
And even if it's bright blue and bright pink, it's factored into a purpose. It's not just there to give it the disco
It
look.
looks
You're gonna have
great,
a bunch of, like,
but
EDM people
it looks
buying this
great,
thing.
but it's basic. Does that make sense?
It does when you've
It's
seen
not.
it.
It's not craziness where you're having to push all these buttons to get it to go. It's like it's nice.
Yeah. So, and the fact that you don't have to utilize all that, if you just want to walk up, turn it on, press start, it's going to set you up in a way that it's not going to fail for you. It's going to perform. And then if you want to get into the details, you can customize it. Or as the video said, and this is something I don't know much about how adaptable it is, but the fact that it learns your cycle, history, it looks at your characteristics that you're adjusting and then builds it into the cycle for you. I'm like,
That's awesome.
That's
So
different.
this actually
subconsciously.
measures out habits then.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
It's neat.
part of that video segment, and it's part of the AI that's built in, which I know with that term gets thrown around a lot, AI.
Yes.
The way it's
Yeah.
utilized here, it's not chat GTP. It's not,
Yeah.
gonna-
It just recognizes your
Your
do.
patterns.
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
man.
that can be turned on or off, but it's a nice feature. And we've had appliances that learned characteristics for going back 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We had a dishwasher that used the first turbidity sensor, which is essentially a dirt sensor.
Yeah.
And over time it would learn, okay, this is how hot this customer's water is. This is all the factors I need to factor in, and the time on the dishwasher would actually change.
Right.
Run shorter or longer depending on how you load. This customer always puts in super dirty dishes and their water's not very hot. It extends the cycle.
Wow.
So now they've just amped that up and said, okay, they always like to use more water, so I'm just going to give them more water every time.
Oh yeah.
Good.
That's what
Well,
they
that keeps you from having to do push buttons.
And the turbidity sensor makes those adjustments?
Yeah, a turbidity sensor is the sensor that feeds the information to the control, so it decides to make the adjustment. So what a turbidity sensor does is it samples the water clarity. Essentially, you shoot a light through an optical tube,
Yep.
and you measure the particles in the water. And then based on that number of particles, your next sample will tell you, okay, my water's getting dirtier, means my dishes are still dirty. I need to extend that cycle. So it takes that data and it's going to add some time to the wash. And then it's also typically got a thermistor built into the turbidity sensors. It's also measuring the water temperature, and it knows hotter the water, the faster my cycle can be, and it'll adjust. So almost all dishwashers use something like that today. Anything over $500 or
they do.
$600 is going to have something like that.
The way you explain it makes it sound like it's almost like the brain. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, this is what you're supposed to do, guys. It's like, the water's dirty. Let's drain it out. Let's get some new water in here.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, well, and
I knew that it measured, how dirty the water was, but I never really thought about it like that.
Wow, that's great.
And also too, on the feature on that all-in-one, there, Scott, you said there was also a download feature as well, where customers and people get like different features, like you were talking about a special thing there for some push out for the washer for a thing you were saying, like for Petzer.
Yeah, so there's some things they're looking at. So the washer by default has a lot of cycles that you would typically see, bedding, towels, just normal clothing. But then we also have a feature when you're connected to the app. This appliance really, you can utilize more of the benefits by having the GE Smart HQ app on your phone. And they give you more benefits by doing that. They're going to give you another segment on the control panel that's called downloaded cycles. And at any time, you can choose which cycle you want to be stored on that part of the control panel. One of them would be a genes feature. Some people do a lot of blue genes, and they want that gene setting there on demand at any time. But if they wanted to, they could cycle that feature out and choose something like power clean, which is going to be maybe you've got rugs or rags or children's clothes that they go out and play in the dirt.
Right.
Maybe that would be a benefit. So they're looking at other possible downloaded cycles, and one of them that I've heard rumor of was a pet hair cycle. So that really gets into the dynamics of how this dryer works and the fact that it's able to move tremendous amounts of air, probably about 50% more air than a standard dryer at high velocity.
Yes.
And it's able to pick up things that other dryers can't. And we have a massive lint filter, and that lint filter can be utilized to help collect that pet hair. So
that's amazing.
They figured that out along the way.
And it's quiet. It's not loud when it runs.
Yeah.
So that
Super
surprised
quiet.
me when they told me, hey, this is going to move 220 CFMs versus 165 CFMs on a regular dryer. Well, a regular dryer is kind of loud.
It's,
If you're in the room, it's moving the air, you know it, but that's because that's an open system.
Yep.
Your standard dryer is sucking air out of your room, out of your ambient environment. So it's pulling all that air out of your house.
Air condition.
It's pulling your air conditioned air out of your house.
Yep.
It's heating that air and then it's blowing it out of vent. So there is some exposure into the noise level that's in the room as a byproduct versus this system, which is completely sealed up. No air escapes the washer dryer combo. It's just a constant recirculating system. So that air is pretty well insulated, that air noise. So you really don't hear it, even though it's running higher RPMs, more CFMs. It's doing all those things. Plus, it's got a small compressor in there running.
Yep.
You would think all those things would add to the sound level, but it doesn't.
It does not.
You guys heard it today.
We had a class
it
on
was
it
amazing.
today. It was really
I
quiet.
thought it was going to be super loud. That's the first test I did was the
you turned the
blower,
fan on
'cause
to see how loud it was.
I thought it was going to be
It's really
loud,
quiet.
so-
I actually can't even really perceive. As technicians, we're normally walking in and listening to everything.
Yes.
I couldn't even tell the compressor's running.
No, that's
No,
what
I couldn't either.
I have to see it on the screen to know because it's just it's hidden.
and it's technician
neat.
friendly. It's for us. It's a great machine.
And the pet hair, I'm sold on that.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Golly, I
I mean-
got a husky.
I don't know if that's
Yes, you
actually
do.
out and available, and it might just be a rumor. So don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot of sense when you talk about how it picks up. So
Sure.
we're looking at those opportunities
That's
to
awesome,
give
man.
more to the consumers who are willing to connect to it, and we can send those updates via Wi-Fi. So you're connecting on the app, but you're going to get benefits by being connected to that Wi-Fi, like software updates as well, if there's any updates to the machine. So when you have something state-of-the-art, you don't want to have to worry about it being obsolete in a couple years. So all our controls can be updated over the air. And it's a super easy setup for Wi-Fi. That's something that's changed a lot on our products. It's got some extra electronics in there to make it easy for the consumer to connect.
So does the consumer set up a profile for this?
Yeah, so when you go to either App Store, Android or Apple, you'll download the Smart HQ app. And like most apps, you're going to have to create an account with GE Appliances. But once you get that app set up on your phone, it'll remember you, and you don't have to constantly sign in or log in.
Right.
And it's going to give you reminders on a lot of things. So I don't even know, since I haven't used this machine in my house, all the different features that you have. But for instance, it'll remind you when the dryer's almost done. And so you can get prepared to go get those clothes out before they wrinkle.
That's awesome.
You can decide if you want to extend the dry or extend the tumble so that they don't get wrinkled. Like, hey, I'm not ready. I'm still working on this project that I'm
Just
on.
hit a button on your phone.
Hit a button on the phone.
That's awesome, man.
Since these machines have built-in dispensers that'll dispense 30 loads worth of detergent once you fill them, it'll remind you that your tank is low, that you need to refill it, or your tank is empty on your phone.
Wow.
I just appreciated controlling its own amount of detergent going in there. I've seen customers just fill those suckers up.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Where it's like a foam party inside of a freaking tub.
Yeah, that's very precise the way
I like
it
the
works.
colors a lot. The blue and the pink are cool.
Oh yeah, stands out like
Yeah.
So
I like it too. It's cool.
you'll see if you go to geappliances.com and if you select and search by our profile line, that's very across the board. That theme is really to catered. It's in tune with our profile graphic designs. One of the things that's happened among all of our appliances is the brand segments have become differentiated more. So if you get the GE product, it's going to be a little more plainish with maybe a knob. And then if you go to the cafe, you're going to see that that's much more artistic with gold knobs or bronze.
Sure.
yeah.
And then when you get to the profile, I think this suits maybe most products would suit a certain segment of the population that are more interested in higher tech products, a sleeker design with the colors and the graphics.
Yep.
I think this product goes beyond that because anybody's willing to put this in their house once they see what it does.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
it's slick and nice.
100%.
But we do
Absolutely.
have products that are similar in appearance in our profile branding. So, but this one, yeah, I think this crosses all segments
It
and
does.
boundaries. Nobody's going to care what the the colors are once they understand how much of your life you regain by not having to take the clothes from the washer to the dryer, having to remember, to go back and get those wet clothes out of the washer when you're going to end up leaving them there on average an hour or two.
Yep.
And they're going to get smelly and you're going to have to rewash them.
Yep.
It eliminates all that.
Sure does.
And then all those byproducts of, hey, it's 50% more energy efficient.
Yes.
Okay.
Gosh.
It fits in
110.
the same
Yes.
footprint as a standard washer and dryer.
Yep.
So now I can get rid of my dryer and I can use that space
Yes,
for something else. I could put in a laundry sink. I could put in another cabinet.
sure could.
Or-
Folding table.
How about I just get two of these?
Yes.
Twice as much
I'd
laundry.
be about that.
Right, and that's happening. We make kits for the consumer to be able to
Yep.
put two in the same space. It's crazy how many other benefits there are. Like you said, 110 volts is all you need. So you got
yeah.
space choices. I can put this maybe in a space that I don't have a vent,
Yep.
Oh,
that
yes.
I don't have 220, that I never thought I would have a washer or a dryer. And now I can get all in one.
Yeah.
Yep.
In this, maybe it's in this little closet that I have
Sure
no
could.
use for.
Sure.
And now I've got water there. I've got 110 volts, and I'm good. I don't need all that other stuff.
Absolutely.
I mean, theoretically, you can put this in
and it looks good.
one upstairs,
It's got a
one
really
downstairs.
clean look.
Sure could.
Oh yeah, since you don't have to run vent lines or anything through your house, just water and drain. That's it.
I
I'm
could
a-
definitely see these on 38.
I'm 100% sure when they start selling to contractors and stuff,
Oh, we're gonna be seeing these.
it's going to be good.
These will
Be a good
definitely be
show.
on 38.
100%.
Oh yeah,
The nicer homes up there. Yep.
Santa Rosa, Destin area. I'd see that. Oh,
Yeah, I think people now that they understand that, hey, it's a product that works. It lives up to the billing. All right, there's a lot of marketing. We know all that.
Yep.
We've gone through all the technology. We know that's cool and works. But the real proof is in the pudding when the consumers say it works.
Yes.
And now you can say, okay, I'm a builder. I wouldn't have jeopardized a whole project on something that may or may
Just
not
save
work.
some money.
But now I could take this product and I don't have to put in the vent. I don't have to run the 220. Just think of the copper wire you would save. Not
Right.
having to run all
Exactly.
those extra circuits.
Absolutely.
I don't have to run a stack, 150 feet in the air past 10 floors.
100%.
And you've recouped all that building space where that pipe would have to run. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yep. It has a big opportunity for your salespeople with GE if
It's
they
almost like
when they get
opening
it,
up a
they'll-
whole new market.
100%.
oh yeah.
They have. Is that you or me?
Hunter broke the rule.
So that's I think it's awesome. I mean, I don't. It's crazy that nobody else has it because we've worked on all-in-ones and they're terrible.
Yeah.
The ones
Well,
the
yeah.
recent ones because we've had some in RVs. I don't know if you worked on the one. It was a small one. It was terrible. It didn't dry. The way it came
And it took
apart.
6 hours to work. I mean, this
Yeah.
thing's just revolutionized every
This
bit of
changes
that.
everything.
I mean, this even to work on it. We all disassembled it. Scott's the one that gave us the class, and I'd say if we ever work on one, it's going to be a piece of cake.
Yeah, those ones that we work on though are nothing like this one, because this one has the heat pump and everything. Those
Other ones were terrible.
aren't like that.
Yeah, I think when you say, okay, this takes the average cycle is 2 hours, right? It's going to take more for some cycles. It's going to take less for others, but it's in the wheelhouse of what a normal cycle is. That's all good.
Yes.
And there's no catch to it, right? So if you go to other combo machines that have been out there, there was, okay, maybe it says it'll do it in 3 hours, but that's only if you fill to this line, which is about halfway up
That
the
is
drum.
correct.
So this is a 4.8 cubic foot washer and dryer that's the same size as our other large capacity front load washers.
Yes.
And we tell you, you can fill it to the top. Now that's not shoved in hard, that's loosely packed.
Right.
But you can literally do your full load of laundry, 4.8 cubic feet, and expect good performance. And that's like I said, there's always was a downside to those other products. It took too long. You had to limit your load size. It was a smaller drum for the most part.
Yep.
So
definitely smaller. Yeah.
they've been using heat pump technology in Europe for many, many years, but the way Europeans do things is different than the way Americans do things. You know, they buy their groceries every day and they have small refrigerators. All right, we go to Costco and we fill up these giant side-by-sides.
Yeah, we
do our laundry the same way. We build up giant piles of dirty laundry and we shove it all in there at once because we're busy or we got kids.
Exactly right.
Right, so we're going to do these things differently. We have different habits. This is an American version
100%.
of a real heat pump.
I love this machine. It's a great machine.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next segment here now. Now, we're going to do... I found a couple of funny videos out on the internet about other appliance technicians doing some work.
Oh, Lord.
That I'll go ahead and prop up here.
When Brandon says
I'm
funny...
not in these videos, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping to make sure none of it was our technicians on here thinking, oh, well, can't air that one. Let's move on to the next video.
All right, Brandon. All right.
All right, here's the first appliance fail.
Oh, appliance fail.
Yeah.
All right, let's see it, buddy. Oh, my gosh. Why?
I love when I see that.
What do you do?
Hey, when I measured, everything showed it would fit. That one little extra measurement
I don't
for
know
handle.
what happened.
We always
gosh.
have that measurement for handle depth that everybody ignores. We do it on refrigerators and apparently on ovens.
If the oven
That
didn't have the
happens more
handle,
often than none.
Yeah.
Oh,
That actually happens.
that's fun.
And that's, that could happen at one of the big box stores. They go in the kitchen designer and they measured everything out and then they didn't take that last little bit of
handle. Oh, no.
No, and we run into that so often. All right.
When you go to change your oven light bulb, make sure you don't put in one that uses clear plastic instead of glass.
LED.
That would be a problem.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
that would definitely be a problem.
When you go to change
Oh, shoot.
That is a good one. And I mean, but think about it. How hard is it to find an incandescent bulb right now?
Hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You got to go to a specific section in the store and find the Tom Edison
Yes,
version.
you do.
And let's just face it, an average customer's going to say, oh, this is like the ball with the bright pad. Let's go ahead and screw this one in.
This one said 40-watt replacement.
Yeah.
I don't see the problem.
crazy.
Oh, I'd laugh if they got to working it like was a disco in their oven and they started to change colors.
Well, it probably changed some colors as it melted.
You know, you're right on that.
Wow.
two guys moving a fridge.
This is just so
What can go wrong?
cringe
Man,
work.
that's got a GE
geez.
emblem.
Oh, Lord.
You think it's
Better
fixable there,
luck
Scotty?
next time.
Why is that so?
It's a warranty company.
I
Guys
don't,
moving a fridge.
it is a GE refrigerator.
It is.
Let me tell you, I don't understand why they couldn't just turn it sideways and go down the steps. Why are they trying to lift it up like that?
Oh, I have no idea.
Wow.
You think it's salvageable there, or you think? That's,
No, I'm going to tell you it maybe, but they messed up some doors. It came off the hinge. This
oh
one did.
yeah.
I don't
they
think those
ruined that.
doors are ever going to seal again.
No,
I'm pretty
they
sure
ruined that.
the
That's done.
cabinet
And I'll be
squeaked.
honest with you, it looks like a newer refrigerator. It didn't have, oh my God.
Yeah, that's probably less than 5 years old.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's ridiculous. Oh my goodness, Brandon. That's terrible.
It is.
The customer said her dryer was making a loud noise and not drying properly. I asked her why she never cleaned the filter.
Oh, shoot. And since Scotty was an old...
Yeah,
She said I didn't know it had one.
She's had that dryer. That's old. And she never knew it had a dryer.
Yeah.
Since you used to work for
I'll be
Whirlpool there,
honest with
Scotty.
I'll be honest with you. You're probably going to have to remove that whole metal piece and dig that lint out of the bottom side of that.
You know, it's probably built on the wheel housing and everything.
Well, that design, I mean, I only worked for an authorized company for about a year, but that's a Kenmore product, which is Whirlpool. And that design was around for so many years. People loved it because you could extract it from the top.
Yes.
And so if you knew it was there, and it also was a big lint filter, so that was kind of cool.
And what was cool, easy to work on.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. All the heater and stuff was in the back.
Yeah, you could change that heater from the front. You could on a lot of the Whirlpool versions, you could remove that top
That little screw.
that little screw and just lift the whole
it up.
canister straight up.
Yeah, sure
Oh,
could.
shoot.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was a cool trick, but the heaters were not very reliable.
No, they went out a lot.
So
A good money maker.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for us.
Bad for the consumer, excellent for us.
So funny, like she didn't know it was ever there. Here's one that's even grosser.
Ooh.
So a consumer calls, the dishwasher's not working, not getting the dishes clean. And you go, and this happened multiple times. I'm not just saying this is a one-off situation. You get there and there's just brown, dirty water in the bottom of the dishwasher.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And
I
you
think
go,
I know what you're going to say.
so you go and you check, you say, hey, has anybody messed with your plumbing or your disposal lately? No, it's a brand new house. Everything's the same. You go and there's a knockout in the disposal still. And you know that they have been using that same nasty dishwasher water.
It's crazy. I've seen
For
that.
6
I've been
months.
using it for a month, and you're going,
Yeah.
how are you using this for a month?
How do you not notice the smell?
I've ran into the same thing, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can get by with using it for so long.
Right.
And you said yours was 6 months?
Yeah, it's just brown. I mean, that's probably the worst case I've
Oh
seen.
my
but
gosh, people are
it's
just
been
nuts.
multiple.
Did you tell them they've been doing wrong for the past month?
I
That
gotta
was a
be
hard
honest.
conversation,
I gotta be
probably.
honest. That's maybe a really hard one.
Yeah, because you imagine, man, you've been washing
Listen,
your dishes
this is
in
what's
dirty
bad.
water.
Scott is bad because I don't think he knows to have a filter sometimes. He would have been able to be like,
Well, what do you expect
man,
of
you understand that you've been cleaning off the dirty dishes for the last month?
You need to go to the doctor right now.
Hunter asked the- as soon as I start talking, Hunter's looking at me going, don't be truthful. He's saying that in his brain.
I'll be kind of like, I probably would just knock the plug out, knock the knockout out, and just be like, look, ma'am, you're fixed. You know, you just wasn't draining, but you're going to be working
Run
now.
this through at least 4 clean cycles.
Yeah, I might actually say that. I might say because look, it'll have a smell.
Or here are these cleaning tabs.
I just feel like people need to know when they're dumb or something. Not trying to tell them they're that way, but hey, ma'am, I don't know how.
I
in the
feel
world.
like you might have saved their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause
Honestly,
seriously,
really,
they-
yeah.
if they're taking them out and just drying them off and putting them back in there.
Well, theoretically, they may not even need to dry them. I mean, the machine was still heating, and the dishes were they're probably just putting them right back on the shelf.
that's terrible.
You know, the dishwasher's probably not even finishing the cycle. It's
No.
probably timing out somewhere throughout the cycle.
Well, on newer machines, it's not going to happen. On the GE versions, we started using sensors, so it knows when it drains or doesn't drain,
And
so it'll shut off. Yeah. But on the older version that didn't have a pressure sensor, it would just finish the whole cycle up.
wow.
And you know, if it had a heating element, it would bake that dirty
It's when that
water
little
on just.
plunger plunged down and no water goes out of it.
So each cycle, once it gets full to flood capacity, the float's up. It's not going to fill with it
Not
anymore.
going to fill no more.
It's not going to leak. They just keep using the.
Oh, that's just nasty. I can just imagine this. Why wouldn't you just notice the smell? Like,
You
Look,
would
these
think, but you know how many times have you walked in and smelled something like a dead rat on a refrigerator, and you know what it is, and they're like, no, I didn't smell anything.
yeah, you smell it as soon as you go in. You go, oh my god.
every technician's got that story. They walk in the house and get that, so I'm like, oh, yeah, this is that.
Either they're impervious to it or whatever. But there's a few times where you would go, the refrigerator's not working, and you go and there's a mouse or a rat cooking on the condenser fan.
Oh,
and the
I'm
old
getting it.
condenser fan motors, the big round metal ones,
Yeah.
they would get so hot,
Yes, they would cook them.
it would cook them.
And you go,
to
this is
pull
a
'em
terrible.
off,
You go pull off, it flacks it all over you, and you're going,
yeah, they fall
"Golly."
apart.
Oh, Oh, speaking of that, I had one time where I worked on a window unit one time, and I was young. I was like 18 at the time working on it. And the main fan wouldn't run. And I saw like some peach fuzz there. And I nudged it, and all of a sudden there's a dead rat that just flew. And of course, my mouth was open, and all this dead rat and all its hair. I swear, if I didn't walk away with a Ebola or something, it was bad.
The fan kicked on and
it kicked on and started to work, but I just had like rat hair.
We're talking about bad stories. I'll tell you one. Back in the day, I used to work for Sears, and back a long time ago, and I had some issues where working for Sears, where I went to a customer's house, and I'm not going to go through the whole story. I found her dead in her house, and I had to call the ambulance and everybody. Really hard time with that. I had a hard time because she was really there. It was terrible. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a couple of days off and relax. I said, I'm glad I found her where their family didn't find her. I found her. I was going to work on her air conditioner. So I went to work 2 days later. This is in Dothan. I went to the Highlands where they're big houses and they have big side glasses. I think I've told Brandon the story. First day back, and I go to this big house, and I knock on the door, and I knock on the window, and this little old lady's patting to the door as fast as she can, like this, and she gets right up against the skylight of the window. Her eyes change colors, and she falls face first into the glass. She don't fall down. She's face first in glass. I'm going, what's happening? So I reach over there and I knock on the window. I go, you okay? She's not responding. Her eyes. Oh my God. So I grab
dead people.
Yeah.
I grab the door handle. Okay. This is 2 days later, Scott. I grab the door handle. She's leaning partially on the door and partially on the window. Finally, her hand must have dropped off the door handle. So I opened up the door. And I went around, and when I started to grab her, I looked down, and she had rolled up on her feet, from her toes up against the window.
Something your feet shouldn't do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I put my arm around her, and I picked her up, and I saw a couch.
I see DNA all over you.
This is crazy. This is even
Scott's getting locked in.
This is even the weirdest thing. So I'm carrying her to the couch.
Like you were there. There's your CSI has you.
Scott's wanted.
So I grab her, and as I'm walking back to the couch, I look over here, far on the other side of the house, and I see a head sitting on the couch. I said,
What do you mean a head?
He's watching TV. I said, sir. I said, sir. And he looks over there at me, sees me carrying this woman.
Oh, wow.
Just turns back around, still watching TV. And I said, this is not what?
Like, where's the camera?
Yeah.
Scott's like, I'm about to drop this lady on the
I
ground.
still have her wrapped. And then finally she's moving like this a little bit. And I'm going, okay. And she's coming to a little bit. And then a woman comes out from in the kitchen. And I'm probably looking dumb. And I'm holding this woman. I'm going. And then the woman gets away from me. The old woman, she paddles back over there. And she says, get over there and sit down. So this
The
other
other
woman,
lady yelled at her.
and I'm going.
What just happened?
I just said, she just passed out. She goes, she'll be all right. So I said, okay.
Shake it off.
Yeah, that's what she told me. She said, hey, kid. I said, well, what kind of appliance problems are you having? My mind's just going. She says, well,
I don't even know how you got there.
this is even the worst thing. She goes, my oven's not working. See, if I put it on bake, it don't bake. I said, okay, I'm order you a bake element. I ain't checking anything.
You did exactly what you're not supposed to do.
you did exactly.
We got that call.
So I left out and I called my office. I said, y'all, I just don't know what's happening to me. Maybe I just need to take a long time off because this just happened. They're all laughing. I'm going, this ain't funny. No. Go to my next call.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, this is the same day. This is where I'm getting to the gross part, okay?
Oh, I thought we were already there.
No. So I wasn't HB certified. I want to say that to you, but Sears made me work on central units because I knew how. I just wasn't certified. So the woman goes, yeah, the outside unit's not running. I said, all right, I'm outside. I don't have to deal with nobody. I'm still trying to think about the past where I found the dead woman. And then I don't tell you the whole story on that was bad. And then I still have the picture in my mind. And then I had this woman pass out on the window, and I'm really having a bad day. So I get there, and I look, and there's a snake that's wrapped into the condenser fan motor, okay? And I went, dang. I said, whoa, man, this is just not it. So I look at it, and I see it moving. I said, man, that snake's alive. I said, I'm not touching it. I said, I'm not getting bit by a snake. Damn, I'm doing it. She says, it's been in there for a week. I go, well, dang, maybe he's not alive. So what was it? When I grabbed it with my pliers, and I was pulling on it, trying to pull it. It was rolling out of the fan. I was pulling it, breaks in half.
Unwinding it.
Yeah. I was unwinding. Yeah, and when I pulled it, broke in half.
Yeah.
When it broke in half, full of maggots.
Oh.
Okay, so the smell. Yeah, okay, look, the smell and all. I start getting flashbacks of the lady that I found.
Well, you got to describe a little bit in detail of the way you found the lady.
I will say that later.
Okay.
So then I start feeling a little nauseated at this point. I'm going, something's wrong with me, because I'm going to say now, if I saw it, it wouldn't bother me. I feel like I was just a little, I was a weak, my mindset. I shouldn't have been upset about it. But so I said, damn it. So I took the snake and I was going to flip it off my pliers. I flipped it off, stuck to my pliers, and hit me right in the chest. Wow.
So maggots like scattered all over you.
Hit me in the side of my face.
Did it go in your mouth or anything?
No,
Okay,
and
good.
I threw my pliers down, and I have this stink all over me.
Wow.
And I looked up at the lady, and I said, they're going to be sending somebody else to fix this for you. So I went to my truck, left my pliers, left my tools. I said, I'm just going home. Wow. So I went home, and then it did get better. That's just the truth. But the lady I found, this is the funniest.
Going back.
Yeah, going back a
Go
little
back
bit.
to the thing. So I went to the lady's house, knocked on the door. She's not there. I'm doing a preventive maintenance. Knocking on the door, and not answering. And I called one of the technicians. I go, hey, she's not here. I mean, he goes, oh, yeah, you just go on in, man. She lets you go in. You don't have to knock on the door. You just go in. I said, are you sure? He goes, yeah. I said, okay. Went to the back door, opened the door, alarm went off. Pow, pow, pow. Can't even hear it. It was that loud.
Oh, yeah.
I went, dang, I messed up. I said, man, the alarm's going off. He goes, oh, man, she's there. She never goes anywhere. I know she's there. So I walk around to the front of the house. She had a big window, and I put my hand up there. Well, she slumped over in her chair, hand between her. And she slumped over. I said, oh, man, she slumped in the chair. He goes, what do I do? He goes, you need to call 911.
And go in there and check
So,
on it.
like, that's common sense, but in that moment,
Yeah.
your brain
in
doesn't-
my brain. So I called 911, and she goes, sir, I need you to go in the house. I need you to check and see if she's okay, if she's alive.
So this is the 911 dispatch.
Yes. I
Yes.
said,
Oh.
okay, I don't know if I want to do that. She says, you need to go in there. I said, okay. So I went through the door. The alarm's just banging. She has the TV full blast in the house. Okay, she slumped over. I'm coming from behind. So I get up behind. I'm looking at her, and I already know by the discoloration in her skin.
It was been a while.
Yeah, so I went, ma'am.
Like,
I'm going, ma'am, like she's going to respond. And then the 911 lady goes, you got to reach down. She's having to yell at me because I can't hear. She says, take your two fingers, put on her neck, and tell me if you feel a pulse. I said, she's dead.
I
This is what I'm
said,
telling
look,
the-
she's dead. She ain't got no pulse.
I told the 911, I said, I'm looking at her back. She's dead.
she's the
She
wrong
goes,
color.
Yeah.
She goes, no, I think we talked to her last night.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I said, so maybe she wasn't there long. Maybe she had no blood circulation, so her skin turned white and you see the veins, okay? I said, okay, I'll do it. And as I'm bending down, I'm on this side of the chair, bending down like this, trying to look at her face. I'm taking my hand, phone cuts off. I don't have 911 on the phone with me anymore. I said, okay, I'm going to finish. I bent down, and when I looked at her face, I said, oh, my God, what am I looking at? Her tongue was sticking out of her mouth about this long, swollen about this big. Her eyes were just pulsating out. So at this point, she's, so I raised up. I'm going to say it's sad about the woman. I raised up. I said, I ran outside, and I stood over there on the side waiting for the police and stuff to get there. And my mind's just flashing this big tongue, and the lady, the way she looks, terrible. And then the police gets there, and he goes, where is she? I said, she's inside. He goes, I need you to show me.
Again?
You're going back in there.
I said, sir, I would rather not go back inside.
Oh, God.
And he goes, I need you to show me. He goes, and when we're going in, he goes, is there anybody else in the house?
No.
I said,
There's no foul play
yeah,
here.
I said, I have no idea. So I went about to the kitchen, and I pointed to her, and I said, she's right there. And I went back outside, and I stood by my truck in the front. So the police officer, apparently put on rubber gloves and maybe lifted her up. 5 seconds later, he's outside standing on the porch smoking.
Lit up a good cigarette.
It was terrible.
You know, I'm actually surprised, as long as I was doing service calls in the field, that I never had anything that.
No,
I've had some crazy stories, but I worked around a lot of elderly folks in the area I worked.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it never happened to me, because it happened to a lot of techs that I worked with.
Nobody, you just don't know what you're going to run into.
No.
So this is what my wife constantly told me. I said, oh my God, I'm going to have nightmares. She goes, this is the way you need to look at this. This is her. Her family members didn't find her. You found her. You don't really care for this woman. You don't know her.
Yeah.
So you found her, and you know in your mind her kids didn't find her.
Saved them from having to
Correct.
deal with
And I said,
Exactly.
I said, you're right. Didn't help me any. But then I want to say it made me, every time I think about it, I would think of that. And I said, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yes.
But then the process afterwards, the snake and the old lady falling face first.
you had a bad week.
That was a bad week. And nobody understands that. Because
All you were missing was a flat tire.
when I tell yes, if I told that story to anybody, they're going, "Oh yeah, I don't know. Go listen, man."
All right, now let's talk about the time where you took out an entire hospital.
No, we're not going to talk about those days, Brandon. Let's just forget about the entire hospital day.
Oh shit!
Commercial units don't ever work on commercial units. When you're 18 and 19.
Yeah, that's when he was real young and dumb.
I'll go ahead and finish the story. We're not telling no more stories after this, Brandon.
All right.
I was 18 and I worked on a regular residential appliance, but there was a company that was hiring a commercial technician. Apparently I sell myself well. Went there and said, oh yes, no difference, I can do it. So they let me ride with somebody for a few days, but they put me on call a month after I'm working there. Hospital calls and goes, hey, our dishwasher's not working. I thought, oh, I could work on that. Well, when I get there, the dishwasher size of a football field.
It's like producing 190-degree steam.
Yeah. I'm
It's a
looking at
crazy
it
dishwasher.
and I'm going, okay, all right. I'm not one of those people to think I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Not really. I'm surprised I'm still alive. I climbed on top, removed the top of it off where the motor is and everything. Okay.
You climbed on top of it.
Yeah, this is how big it is. I climbed on with I got on top. The other man sitting away from me. I said, "Let me look here." I pulled the top off, and there's 15 fuses. This is a 4-phase, 6-phase. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I was only
A lot of phases.
I was only to see the voltage came in this way, and it exited this way through the fuses. So I checked to see which one I had voltage going through. This one didn't have it. So I got it, man. I got one of those fuses in my truck. I said, can you turn the power off? He goes, can't turn the power off. He's no way. We turn the power off, turns it off to the whole kitchen and everything. Me being dumb.
Oh, I could do this without turning it.
I had my pliers.
Oh my God.
I'm invincible.
They had rubber on them, but my rubber had a hole in it. I didn't know it did. Okay. So I reached down there slowly. Grabbed
That
it.
makes a difference. I'm slowly gonna electrocute myself.
This is what happened.
That's going to change the whole
So
game.
funny. I grabbed it, and when I pulled up, it pulled up the one side.
Yeah, and it hung in the other.
My pliers slid up, touched it, lit me up.
Yeah.
Hit my hand. I don't know what the volts were, so I snatched my hand away.
But it didn't go through your body.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
your
no,
arm.
I had my shoes on. I wasn't on my knees. So
You'd
when
have
I
probably been dead.
Oh yeah. So when I
yeah.
pulled it, hit me. I let go of the pliers when it hit me. Pliers fell down into the unit, exploded. Okay. So I came off the unit. I don't know if I fell off or I jumped off or what I did, but the brightness was so bright. Okay. I mean, it was that bright. So I fell off, had my hands on my head, and then when I pulled my hands away and looked, darkness. Couldn't see my hand.
So
in
you
front
think
of my
you've
face.
been blinded
This
yourself,
is what's so funny. I said, damn, I'm blind. I said, I can't see. And the man sitting over there on the floor says, no, man, I can't see. He blew the breaker in the hospital. Shut the whole hospital down.
Oh shit!
The whole hospital
Thank
was
goodness.
off.
I just caused a nuclear meltdown. At least I can see.
So and the guy said, no, man, the whole hospital's off. There's no lights anywhere. Well, you know what happens. The generator kicks on and cuts it all on. I'm blind. I'm blind. 19 years old. I was going, I'm blind. I told myself. And he goes, look, you blew the fuse. I said, listen, I'm going to send my boss. I'm going to leave. So I left and my boss went. And what my boss did is
Was that your last day?
No, believe it or not, it wasn't. I had a lot of mistakes made. But when he went and took up for me. He asked the guy, he said, did he tell you to turn the power off to this? And he goes, yeah, I told him I couldn't. He goes, well, if he would have died, y'all would have been in trouble. He reversed it on them because he should have turned the power off.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, but when he probably looked on top of that, could you imagine what got destroyed on top of that dishwasher? Oh, my gosh.
Did you get your pliers back?
I didn't ask for anything. Boss called me in. He goes, I think we're going to delay you on being on call for a little while. I said, yeah, I don't know. I can do it. I can do it. That was an accident. And then he told me, he said, never, if you can't turn the power off to it, because this is not 110,
yes,
you don't work on it. And I said, yeah, I agree. So,
I've been shocked too many times. I'd be looking at that guy saying, well, they ain't getting fixed.
no, I messed up. So that's the hospital incident.
That was funny. I've never heard that story.
That's a terrible story, especially when
No,
I
it's
told
not.
him.
That might be one of the funnier stories I've heard.
But it has an impact, and you get people's attention, and you're like, hey, safety is something we need to think about. We have, so kind of like what Brandon just said, a lot of guys joke in classes, yeah, I've been shocked so many times, or it's only 110, but hey, every once in a while, one of those ends up badly where that person,
it's terrible.
And we've had those incidents in factories and in factory technicians, and you know, that's the worst thing.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Having the power turned off is so. And I tell my technicians when they call me and go, "Yeah," I said, "Well, look, check this," and I'll go unplug it every time.
Well,
I tell them.
I mean, I've made this mistake. So, I mean, this is something I would tell myself. You're in a situation. I think a dryer has got me a couple times where I didn't get shocked, but it was so close. Where you're trying to make tests and you're applying power and unapplying power, and you remove, and then all of a sudden that one time you're reaching back in to put the belt on, and you look up and the cord is in the socket. Because you have done it so many times. You're frustrated by this time.
Yes. Oh
and
gosh.
You're like slowly pulling your hand back out of the machine.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
And you know what's terrible? It's not so much of, I've done that working on too, not forgetting. As soon as you shock yourself, it's not, the shock hurts you, but when you snatch your arm out, meat and all is going to come off with it because you're going to get every piece of.
I've seen guys that worked in our factory service with microwaves, especially. You know, we always preach, don't do anything with the high voltage. Don't test the high voltage. Don't do anything. But it's happened where they've been in there with a tool or something, and the arc jumps from the capacitor or the magnetron, and it'll literally go through their arm. And the ones that were lucky, they would have an exit wound that was like a 6-inch cut on their arm, where the 4,000 volts comes out and jumps to the back to the cabinet.
Yep.
And just causes massive wound. It's like,
it's
a
terrible.
gunshot. And then there's been other guys who just, went into cardiac arrest.
It's not, that's why I was telling Hunter, it causes your heart. It could cause.
That's from testing voltage on a magnetron?
No. Yeah, anything high voltage on a microwave, the transformer, the capacitor, the magnetron. You don't. While it's running, stay away from those things.
Yes.
Yep. Not only do you not try to test them, but anything you've energized on the microwave, keep all your tools, your
It'll
meters.
short out your meter just like that.
Oh yeah.
You could just have an amp probe in your hand, and it's not designed to handle that kind of voltage, so it can go through the test instrument into your hand, and that's what's
shoot!
Terrible.
I didn't even know that.
Safety.
Because those tools are not meant to read that high voltage. There are tools that do it. But there's so many precautions like barriers and high voltage rated gloves and pliers and all that stuff most technicians are not going to have in their tool bag.
You just order everything.
That's
everything on the high side.
Honestly, that's the probably the right way to do it most of the time. Once you've associated it's a high voltage problem or it's a control problem, you've separated those two things. You go, okay, I've got the 120 going to my transformer. That's all I need to worry about. Anything else will be one of these components. In the modern microwave, 95% of the time, it's the magnetron.
Yep, 100%.
The other 5% is usually a capacitor or a diode, and there might be a 0.5% that's a transformer.
Right, transfers don't require too much. Right,
but in the old days, that didn't used to be the case. Magnetrons were actually pretty reliable. Rectifiers, diodes would fail more.
Diodes were bad about going out. Yeah, so that's just scary. But safety is so important.
Yes.
All right, Brandon, show us the video.
We got two more here, guys. Let's see here.
Look, y'all making me think about my
War stories.
The battle stories.
Yeah.
I know. Wow.
Oh shoot.
Hi, this is Riker reporting live from my house.
Who can guess this one?
Oven door.
I went to open the oven and it popped on me, and then luckily I was.
Does this drawer look like it's missing?
Yeah.
Just in time
That kid drop kicked that door.
jumping glass
No.
turned everywhere.
You know what he did? That drawer was open, and he slammed open that door. Is what he did. Is probably
Oh.
what he did.
Well, the handle's gone, so it's either that or the screws loose came out of the handle and the glass slid out.
There are some doors that actually
From my house.
the handles only mount to the glass, which is kind of
Yeah,
weird.
that's
But
sorta
they
weird.
have usually plastic backers to help take the pressure.
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty annoying service call for in warranty products because we use that tempered glass on the outside and the inside. It's designed if there's any sort of a defect or a impact to do what it did. So
Oh.
people can't understand that though. I should say consumers don't understand. They're like, they think it exploded.
Yeah.
So why do y'all do that though? Such a big
So
mess.
because you're less likely to cause an injury with that
Okay.
tempered
I
small
agree with
pieces
that.
than a large shroud where you could really
Cut your
lacerate
right.
somebody. So, but we do get these spontaneous breakages. Now, the kid probably did something in this one.
I'm sure because
But
this video.
I can't tell you how many service calls I've had where consumers say, I just walked out in the morning and there was glass all over the place.
Yeah,
Or in
I've
the
heard
middle of
that.
the night. It could be the inside of the door, the inner glass, or the outer glass. The outer glass is usually explodes a little more or shards go everywhere.
Yeah.
But
I always get the pot or the pan that's too big to fit in the oven that hits the
yeah, but that's not the same one.
yeah, that's a little bit different than this kind of issue here.
yeah, some people cause it. But the general guideline for us is we typically do something to take care of the consumer if we can't explain it. We
Right.
don't blame it on them because
You can't. But
It
no, in
can-
your
it-
mind, you're going.
like, well, it's like a 50-50, right?
Right.
But since tempered glass, which is what this is, can have a defect that can, a thermal change can just cause it to just,
Wow.
all of a sudden one day it'll just be broken.
Wow.
For no reason, no apparent reason, but it's that defect that might have been present there for years.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden there was maybe it went from hot to cold in the room or the oven was on and it cooled. And then that temperature change was enough to cause
shatter.
that thing to just
Could be.
final blow. So
That's
let's
it.
face
I
it,
usually don't argue when they tell me. I just go, okay.
Yeah.
It's turkey season, so apparently everyone's using their oven. So this may be popping up on our radar a little bit.
No, let's
Yeah.
not. No breaks.
Oh yeah.
What's next, Brandon?
All right, now this one's a little bit based on a South Park, what they think of appliance handyman.
Oh Lord, see, there we go again. Appliance men aren't handymen.
I know, but this is what they think.
All right, let's watch.
kind of good because I mean it really does expose there's a major gap in what people know how to do today, like
Yes.
the common sense learning that a lot of people grew up with
Yep.
and was passed on. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's just the technology has been doing everything for people.
What is
wow.
that?
It's part of the next segment because can you spot the issue?
Look at the thing, the way he wired it at the top.
Well, it's also on a 120 volt
I know.
220 cord, and there's no strain relief in that hole. That's a jagged opening for the
Oh
power
my
cord.
gosh.
It's gonna
Oh,
cut right through.
Okay, Brandon, that's terrible.
But what were you going to say there, Scotty? After I popped that up.
What's that?
Oh, you were saying
he's
something
just
about
saying
that
it's
South Park
true.
episode.
Oh yeah,
Nobody knows
just
anymore.
nobody knows how to do anything anymore.
No, they don't.
I mean, you walk in and as if like we were talking with the guys today, you know, you should be proud of your knowledge and your skills and your ability and your worth is as a parent and consumers you should be proud of that and not be afraid to speak up and give
100%.
them their
Yes.
opinion and establish that you're there as a professional because they really don't understand. Now sometimes they'll need you to dumb down the conversation a bit
Oh, yeah.
to explain it to them in a way that makes sense. But our industry definitely can be a hero to those folks,
Yes.
and can be appreciated. But sometimes how you communicate that to them is a way to explain it in a way they understand,
Yes.
and that you're going to do things for them that they can't do for themselves.
Correct.
Especially not safely. I don't know how many service calls you guys have run where somebody looks on YouTube and thinks they can put in a control board.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
gosh.
it's always the control board on the refrigerator that they change.
know,
and it's not the control board.
Yep.
And I
Something
saw it on
else.
YouTube and I did it.
Yep.
But that's not how it's not how you diagnose the product. You get the correct service information, you interpret it, you do the correct test. You don't just look it up.
Yeah.
And we
Control
go,
board.
you go, ma'am, that's going to be an extra $100.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you sometimes feel sorry for them.
Yeah, I
but
know.
Oh, when you get the ones that disassemble it themselves saying, hey, I saved you some time, you know.
Oh, man.
My husband saved you some time, just disassembled it for you. All you got to do is put that heating element in. It's like, no.
That's terrible.
Yeah, you ohm out the heating element. It's not even bad. It needs a
Oh, it's
control board because
Oh.
it wasn't though.
I'll be looking at her if your husband puts it back together for you, give me a call.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's see if we can figure out all the spotted issues right here.
Brandon, we got to hurry.
I know there's not that many on this one, you guys.
Let's see what we got.
All right. So I think y'all pretty much got it, all this
We
one.
know what's wrong
It
with
also
that
be
one.
120 volts, and also they got the ground wire backwards.
What's crazy is that in some cases I don't know if that's a dryer or range. I think it's a dryer, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it
Oh, it could be
it
a
might
range.
even run. Right?
It would
You
if he
plug
hooked it
that
up to
in,
the motor.
The motor might run.
Yep.
And then they're gonna say it's not drying, it's not heating.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not paying attention, like,
Gosh, as soon as you grab that plug and unplug it, you're going to go.
okay,
Oh,
what's wrong here?
Yeah.
It's a gas dryer.
What's that? Yeah, you would. That would be the first thing that pop in your mind. Oh, I'm working on a gas dryer, and you look back there and there's no gas.
Oh, that'd be the way I would think about it too.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, we know what's wrong with that one, Brandon. We ain't got to look at it.
Yeah, that one's definitely
Oh, I love those where you just push
all the
button.
resettable fuses. I wish those would come back. They don't see, you don't, I think the only one that does that is Fisher Packle, right?
I think. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we have many of those now. We used to have them on a few products, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure why we stopped. But
Bosch uses them on their dryers. I don't think they make dryers anymore. Go
I
ahead.
don't think so either.
Click it.
All right. How's he doing that?
He is standing.
wow.
Talk about, hey,
I don't think that's the right way to do that.
well, let's just face it. If he weighs as much as Rodney, I could see this working
Maybe
out.
if he weighs about 80 pounds, would
So
be all right.
I mean, he's trying to prevent the agitator from spinning.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
he can hold
Yes.
get more torque on the bolt. It's really hard to keep that from moving if it's not engaged in a.
So
a
maybe
mode
that's
shift.
a smart way. I don't.
No, I don't think. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm just seeing the reasoning.
Yeah, that'd be the reason. But if he weighs, if like you could see me and Brandon
Oh,
standing
if we were,
I'm just picturing the customer walking in the laundry room and
Oh,
he's like
my
in
gosh.
the
He's
washer.
He's like, I'm just taking a bath.
What's next, Brandon? Oh, my
shoot.
goodness.
yeah.
oh, that would, who can do work in this man?
Brandon, get your bedroom out of here.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was part of the camera roll. My bad.
I don't mind.
Oh.
But see, honestly, I would tell the customer, look, guys, call me back. We
Yeah,
can't-
at least clear this up a little bit for me.
Yeah,
least
that's one of the things we put in most of the warranty information is the product has to be accessible and the work area has to be safe.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is neither. So
Yeah, no,
Oh,
neither.
yeah.
100%.
one of the and I think that's you could slip and fall in that laundry.
Trip.
All kinds of things
I'm
can
an
happen.
old man. Yeah, I always. At least it ain't a bunch of cat crap and all.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing I appreciate.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah.
Who would do that?
Red to white. That's
I
correct.
With white to red. Somebody.
Wait, that means they had the black wire going to
Wait,
ground.
That unit has power going in on the ground only. Am I correct on
that means they got black.
Dryer won't heat. She said, I don't know why.
Because they have the black wire dangling down here.
Oh, okay.
I see what they
green.
did. Yeah. So they didn't know what to do because they had 4-wire cord. So they hooked the ground to the line one.
Is it crazy that they have the colors on top? All they had to do was match the colors.
Well, but
Because you
still
got
they have an
red,
extra
red, black,
wire.
black.
And
Yeah,
they're
and they
like,
didn't
what
know
do I
what
do
to
with this
do.
extra wire?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
shoot.
Okay, Brandon, go to the next one.
Yeah, I can guarantee that would hurt the touch right there. Can you imagine if you had to pop off that panel and the wires dangling? It
Well,
sparks.
that's one where the breaker again should.
The breaker should pop on that
Oh.
one instantly.
But what if it doesn't?
Yeah. But if you're like me and Hunter, it all
Oh, I did that on a hot water heater one time. They had it on ground, and I reached over there to touch it, shocked the piss out of me. I said, golly. My dumbness said, okay, something's wrong. I'll get up. Maybe I was on my knees. It was a little one. So I got up on my feet, touched it again, but knocked my arm off. So I finally took the cover off, and sure enough, they had the power going into the ground in the hot water heater. I was thinking, how is this not shocking people taking a shower? You know, if it's not throwing the breaker.
Oh, well, it probably go for only a certain distance, maybe.
Click it.
Oh,
Who can fix it?
yeah.
Oh, that,
Brandon, that
What would it cost to fix, guys?
that's an extended warranty right there. Brandon, that's dumb. That'd be wrote
That
off.
looks like an
quick.
old Affinity series, doesn't it?
It does.
Oh, golly, I hated those.
Yeah, that's basically that Frigidaire design.
What do y'all think?
That's struts.
I think, yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
Very
wait,
much-
that's an Amana.
Yeah,
That's Whirlpool.
yeah.
It's going to be a strut.
It's gonna be struts.
Could be the tub is loose.
It could be the tub was loose, or the balance ring could be bad, or the struts are bad.
From the Urban Brothers. All right, go ahead, Brandon. Click away.
Let's see.
That's it. Oh. What are we watching? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's a fun boot seal to
We know
replace.
what that is. Go to the next one. That has to be torn or something. That's leaking bad.
Yeah. See,
Brandon, where are all the fun ones?
I have a couple. They ain't what it is, guys.
I'm thinking it's the shroud, the belt and the shroud.
The belt in the shroud.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'd go with that. That could be a list of things on that.
I thought it was like a kid's toy inside of it.
That's
I don't
it.
know.
We got one more, Brandon.
Let's see here.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, we're talking about HVAC.
We
don't have to watch this one. It's funny though. This guy
he got electrocuted.
When you hit that 240 volts.
I just laughed. He's wearing zip ties as a belt.
Gosh, he is.
This guy's got to be from Bonifay.
Pretty good video production.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, my goodness. What's going on there,
shoot.
Brandon?
Oh goodness.
Yeah, let's. Oh yeah, this is what we were talking about, like the boot seal test.
I'm gonna show you how to.
This guy instantly reminded me of Scotty here.
What are you saying? Better looking than he is.
Well, when it comes down to installing the,
Oh, those springs. This is a Frigidaire, isn't it?
I thought Whirlpool made those.
No, I don't.
That's
I'm thinking that's a Frigidaire with the spring. Oh, what's going to happen here?
Oh, that's the one that goes on the backside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's every technician's worst nightmare.
So what's he showing?
yeah. I thought something funny was gonna happen.
About someone being able to do it without the front on.
Power.
I do that. I do that every time I do one. I ain't never done a boot seal.
Now this
without
one,
doing
I
it
try
like
to figure
that.
out what was causing this one. This one threw me off. Of
It's a
course,
Samsung.
Samsung, butt of everyone's joke on this one. Again, I couldn't tell if it was a scrubbing noise.
Yeah, it's coming from right there.
You think the pulley's scrubbing?
That's a transmission issue or something, Brandon.
Yeah.
Looks like it's hitting.
Who cares?
It's whatever it is, it's expensive.
Buy a new one.
Exactly.
Buy a new one.
That screams out, buy a new one.
You know what's so crazy? Ain't none of these GE don't have problems.
Exactly.
I appreciate you guys leaving those out.
Customer complains ice maker ain't working.
Oh my God! How many times have we ran into that when they
Oh,
put stuff in the bucket?
Yeah. Can't
right.
dump ice. See, which one was this one?
I don't know what brand it is.
Oh, it's a Maytag.
It's a Whirlpool. Why is
Boy,
everybody
that's
saying?
really getting into it right there.
I'm trying to remember, why did I have this video on here? Shoot.
All right, go away, that Brandon. That's no good. I don't even know why we're watching.
Oh, it's trying to spin and it's not spinning.
Oh, that's a terrible brand. That machine sucks.
Yeah, that's
Like
something
a
like.
mode shifter issue.
Yeah,
That's
I was
what
going
it-
to say
what it
mode
looks like.
shifter. Yeah, I was going to skip over that one. That was stupid. I have seen this issue before. This is a Electrolux.
Okay, that has to be the tub.
That's
Yeah.
how the new versions work.
Yeah.
What do you say?
That's what you tell the customer.
That's the tub.
Normal operation.
You can actually see
Ma'am,
it
this
by the
is
band.
typical- this is normal.
This is normal. This is just the way it's work.
That just means it's doing a good job.
Sounds like a balance ring or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Balance
that's
ring.
the-
Well,
Oh,
remember
yeah,
this
so-
one? Huh? This one had that. Oh, this is that Electrolux that had the bolts in the center. That if they ever come loose, that inner tub starts rattling like crazy.
Yep, I remember those.
Oh,
Last one, Brandon.
I think we got 3. I think we got 3 more.
One of them delayed heats.
Just pulsates all it
That's
does.
a door switch.
Yeah, that's what I would lean into.
No,
too.
it could be a relay.
Really?
The board.
Really? You
Do you
think?
think a relay? We don't know what that one is,
I
Brandon.
mean, it could be low voltage or anything.
Oh, it
I
could
don't-
be. Sure, that's
you
a
know,
weird
not
one.
holding the relay.
Brandon, how many more of these old dumbass videos you got?
This is the last
Oh,
one.
there. That's.
There we
What
go.
is
Who wants to do the seal system on this one?
What did he get that? What is that?
So those were maggots crawling all over.
Out of the drain pan?
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
It-
that unit
So
shut off.
I will tell you that in my early GE years, we had a massive compressor problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
And every single one of them were failing for a few years. And I did that's almost all I did for two or 3 years.
Sealed system.
Sealed system compressors, over 1,000 a year.
Wow.
1989, 90, 91. All right. And we had so many, we would go out and try to change them proactively. But I was working in an area where there was a lot of seasonal population, snowbirds.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a service call once that was the neighbor in the condominium smelled something and thought somebody had died in the apartment.
Oh, my
They did what
gosh.
you said. They called the police, had
Yeah.
them open up the door,
Yeah.
and found the refrigerator. And they actually called me to fix it after those maggots. Like the whole thing was full. You couldn't get within 10 feet without starting to gag.
I hope
Like
you
this-
refused.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
Yeah,
there's-
you can't do none of
like,
that.
you can fix it. Even if you could fix it, you will never
Get rid of that
I mean,
smell.
back then we had all the styrofoam that was exposed.
Yes.
and
Oh, my
They were
gosh.
keeping meat in there and everything while they were out of town, and
Why
it just
would
soaked
they
into the insulation.
It would get absorbed in there.
I would have
Ugh.
said, I'd have walked in and went,
yeah,
sorry, listen, guys, call the cleaning crew first,
yeah.
and then I'll be more than glad to come in here and work.
Now
on
I
this.
think really a lot of cases, and I had that happen to other products, but that was the one I remember that was like the worst and the first. And sometimes people would have like insurance, and they just needed somebody to sign off and say, "Yeah, that one's bad."
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
it's always worse when customers think they're going to expect you to clean their fridge and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff in the process.
Is that it,
Yeah.
Brandon?
Yes, that is it, guys.
Well, Scott, you
Yep.
got a long ways to go. We appreciate you doing
Yeah,
this.
Scott.
podcast
Absolutely,
with
man.
us.
Thank you.
It's awesome having you on the pod there, man.
Yeah, this is fun. I mean, I think this is a great opportunity that other people could take advantage of around the country and do what we said. We're starting to educate people about how to, look at alternative career options and find a way
Yes,
to
100%.
get to work in a career where you get a lot of satisfaction. And, this is a new avenue, in today's world versus when you and I started, Scott.
Yes.
So this didn't exist. That's the kind of attitude that we need in this industry to get more people involved is,
Yes.
the electronic means, the social means, whatever it takes to have us look at this as more of a profession versus just a job.
Right.
I agree, man.
I agree.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Thanks for having me on. It was fun. And
Hey,
thank you.
I really enjoyed the training that we did today, too.
I did
Me
too.
too.
Oh, I
Thank you
did
so
too.
much.
We
All the
appreciate
guys,
it.
I could tell all the guys enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
It's
It's
got-
fun, man.
You're always
It's
welcome
fun
back
at
on the
end of
pod
day,
like
in my opinion.
always.
Yes.
Yes. But, all right, guys, let's sign off. Well, if this.
Music.
Yeah, I think you found your perfect
I
intro and
I
exit.
like it. It
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
good.
I agree.
All right.
Here we go.
All right, Scott, we appreciate that podcast. Brandon
Yeah.
will give you the link. Cool.